Airplanes are in the news with the American president's desire to accept one as a gift from the Qatari royal family, people who definitely never have ulterior motives. And that Gulf Arabs and the Trump family have convergent tastes in interior decor will surely shorten the retrofit time, as long as he doesn't mind the scent of oud. None of this, though, compares to the wild story around an early attempt to create a state plane for the People's Republic of China. Not the one that we're looking at here, which is for Xi Jinping in Bali in 2022, but more than 25 years ago for then-President Jiang Zemin. In the late 1990s, China bought a used commercial airliner, a Boeing, off of Delta Airlines, and then sent it to Texas, I think, for extensive refitting so it could be put into use as the president's plane. After it arrived in China, it was going through some final checks when someone noticed an odd, staticky whine. It was a bug, a listening device, and this led to an extensive teardown and the discovery of 26 more, including one embedded in what was to be Jiang Zemin's bed. Now, one very possible explanation is that the Americans did it. The plane came from there, it was refitted there, though under the careful supervision of people from the Chinese Air Force. And in truth, I don't know the answer, but I would like to introduce some other information that potentially makes this story much more interesting. First were the bugs themselves, just the profusion of a couple dozen, which were better than models commercially available to the general public, but not that sophisticated. By contrast, recall a few years ago now the accidental crash of one of the Pakistani F-16s. The Americans have provided lots of planes to the Pakistani Air Force, and none of this relates to current news. This is all a bit old. Through the wreckage, it was discovered that a locating device had been placed in a tail stabilizer, I think, almost kind of baked in at the factory level. So the Americans, in other words, could know where the F-16 was at all times. The device, and this is all from people that are more knowledgeable than I am, drew its power from the temperature differentials in different parts of the engine, making it virtually undetectable even in a thorough scan. So, sure, perfectly possible the Americans could have done it, but 27 kind of shitty bugs, one of which was already malfunctioning shortly after the plane's arrival, it does make you go, More revealing, though, was the pattern of reaction on the Chinese side. When the story came out, this was officially blamed on the Americans, but China retaliated not at all, not particularly strongly rhetorically or with any canceled meeting or any other tit for tat, which is quite unusual for past practice. The solution to the problem, and the original plane was sold off, was to take out of service periodically and kind of at random different planes from Air China's fleet, that's the national carrier, and use them for presidential service before returning them to the fleet and taking a new one. Rotating randomly through planes from the domestic carrier obviously has some drawbacks, but seems like a great defensive measure, though against whom? If the plane is already in country and chosen at random, why do you keep rotating? Who is it that you don't trust that has that sort of domestic capability? The view from insiders, again unverified and unproven, was that all of this had been the work of Li Peng, another politician and a kind of rival of Jiang Zemin. Part of me regrets all this was uncovered, because in a parallel universe, maybe Li Peng really did have to listen through that bugged bed to Jiang and his mistress repeatedly joining the Mile High Club.